The next video, we're going to continue talking about our congruence postulates. So far, we talked about side, 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 or SSS, and side, angle, side, SAS, where our angle is the included angle, meaning it touches both sides. We're going to do two more in this video. The first one, maybe, is angle, side, angle, ASA. Just like with side, angle, side, this side is in the middle, and it touches both A's. Right, the S is touching both A's, so our side has to touch both angles. It is an included side. Okay, so if two angles in the included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles in the included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Right, again, the included side is a side that's between the two consecutive angles, so it's touching both angles. So if we look at the triangles down here, right, we've got angle O corresponds to angle A, angle B corresponds to angle M, and then side OB corresponds to side AM. Right, so this side is in between and touching both angles, so it's an included side. So I can say that triangle BOW is congruent to triangle, and we said B corresponds to M, O corresponds to A, which leaves W to correspond to N. So triangle BO is congruent to triangle MAN. So looking at this example, we want to see if it's congruent. Okay, so we've got this segment BC is congruent to CE. So BC is congruent to CE, so that's one side. We've got angle B is congruent to angle E because they're both right angles. Oop, that's not a good congruent sign. Angle E, alright, so we got a side and an angle, and nothing else is marked on here, but we have two intersecting lines. So we've got vertical angles. So I can say angle BCA is congruent to angle DCE. Okay, now I've got two angles and a side, with this side touching both angles. Right, so this side is an included side, which means it's congruent by angle, side, angle. Okay, oops, lost my pen. Angle, side, angle. Right, I can write my congruent statement and say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle. Right, I know that B and E correspond, and I know C corresponds with itself, which leaves A to correspond with D, and then E, and then C. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DCE by angle, side, angle. The last congruence postulate is angle, angle, side. Right, angle, angle, side. Last time the angle or the side was between the two angles. Now the side is on the outside. Okay, so it's only touching one of the angles. Right, this is called a non-included side. Okay, it only touches one of the angles. And angle, angle, side is when two angles and the non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding angles inside of a second triangle. Then two triangles are congruent. Alright, so if we look down here, we've got triangle BOW again. We've got angle O is congruent to angle A. Angle W is congruent to angle N. And side OB is congruent to side AM. Now this side is only touching angle O. It's not touching angle W. It's opposite of angle W. And this side over here, AM, is opposite angle N. Right, so this is a non-included side. So I can say that triangle BOW is congruent to triangle. I know that O and A correspond, W and N correspond, which leaves me with B and M. So that leaves me with triangle BOW is congruent to triangle NAM, MAN. So again, BO is congruent to MAN. So looking at this example, we've got angle K is congruent to angle U. Oops, I need my angle sign. We've got angle M is congruent to angle S, and we've got KL is congruent to TS. Right, so I've got two angles and I've got a side. Right, two angles and a side, and I've got this side is not included because it's only touching one angle in both triangles. But I've come to a problem. In this triangle, right, KL is touching angle K, which has the one curve. And in this triangle, TS is touching angle S, which has the two curves. Okay, angle K and angle S are not congruent. So if I imagine trying to flip this STU triangle around to make it look like triangle KLM, right? If I flip it, okay, the angle that's congruent with K is angle U. The one that's congruent with angle M is angle S, which leaves T over here. And I know that TS is congruent to KL. So looking at this purple triangle and the black triangle, I don't have enough information. So I do not know that these triangles are congruent, even though I have two angles and a side. Okay, not enough information. They may be congruent, but I don't know. Alright, and that's it for this video. It's a very quick one. We'll come in tomorrow and keep working with these and put all four of them together, all four of our congruence postulates.